Ernest Goes to Camp has Ernest finally becoming a camp counselor, and unfortunately, he has to take care of delinquents for the Second Chance program. So this was the second Ernest movie that I've seen. The first Ernest movie was actually Ernest Scared Stupid. No, this was the third Ernest movie that I've seen, because the second movie was Ernest Goes to Jail. So the positives on Ernest Goes to Camp is I love the camp setting. It's a classic summer camp movie. You got camp cabins, fires at night, building teepees. It's a great campy movie, both literally and figuratively. I love the underdog character of Ernest P. Worrell. He's doofy, funny, but you can also tell he legitimately cares about the Last Chance Boys. No, Second Chance Boys. I think somebody just calls it the Last Chance Boys as a joke, but it's the Second Chance Boys. He goes from just the repairman to a real camp counselor, and rises to the task of saving the camp from Crater Mining Company. His job of being a counselor is throughout most of the film. You know, he's not a counselor for the first 15, 20 minutes of the film, but I mean, like, after that, he's a full-fledged counselor, while other Ernest movies don't have him as his job of the movie very well, like Ernest Scared Stupid. So I really like his camp counselor stuff. I love how Ernest accidentally kind of makes the boys care about the camp and care about other people other than themselves, and in turn the boys make Ernest stand up for himself and fight back. So against Crater Mining Company, I really enjoy that. Maybe he doesn't like accidentally make the boys care. He's trying his best to try and connect with the boys, but he didn't try and make them he didn't try and make them care about the camp. So he kind of does accidentally make them care about the camp. The movie is really funny. It has so much slapstick. Ernest knocks people into the water as he's trying to save Moose. That has always kind of been funny to me. Or Badgers attacking Ernest was really funny, and then the kids doing first aid on Ernest. I enjoyed that. Fire ants when they're attacking Ernest was funny. The cart gag throughout the film was funny. You get it in like the first couple minutes of Ernest is driving the cart. He goes into the bathroom, and then the cart just starts driving off by itself. And then every once in a while, you see the cart just driving past the screen. That was really funny, so I like that. Probably one of my favorite movie gags in any movie. Reoccurring gag in a movie. I really like that. Sherman Crater, I think, is a really good villain. He probably isn't the best villain. Actually, I don't think he would be the best villain. As much as I like villains in my movies, I don't think he's actually the best villain in the Ernest movies. I would actually say the two best Ernest villains are Trantor, the troll in Ernest Scared Stupid, and Felix Nash in Ernest Goes to Jail. Just because the troll is actually different, and it's actually more of a supernatural take in an Ernest movie. And Felix Nash, what's so interesting about him is he is also played by Jim Varney, where Jim Varney also plays Ernest. So it's So he plays two roles in that, and it's a completely different character from the Ernest character. So I like him for that. And he is actually pretty tense. Felix Nash is. But in Ernest Goes to Camp, Sherman Crater, I think he's a pretty good villain. He deceives Ernest and Mr. Windcloud to get the lease for the camp. He eventually loses the camp. Even the big construction worker, I'd say, is a pretty decent villain. Secondary villain, beating up Ernest and tearing down the cabin in the end of the film. Eventually getting his lights turned out by Ernest. Getting just punched by Ernest, which is really cool. Sherman Crater tries to also basically straight up murder Ernest, which is good. I mean, good to make a good villain, not a good thing to do. Because he just takes out his gun and tries to shoot Ernest, getting closer and closer with every shot. So I think Sherman Crater is actually a pretty good villain. That's it for positives. On to the negatives. And I only have one. I mean, like, I love this film. This is a really funny movie. I love the Ernest character. But the one negative I have with it is when Nurse St. Cloud gives Ernest his shot, she's filling up the needle and saying, like, if I practice, I might even get good at it. So that scene, she's filling up the needle, she's looking at the needle, and then she releases some medicine and flicks the needle. And it's like, I've never gotten that joke in any form of media of, like, here's a bit, well, in this movie it's not a big needle, but, like, here's a needle with medicine. This isn't gonna hurt. Squirts them out. Much. That's a waste of medicine. And don't you just have to clean that up? Why not just fill it the first time to where you need it to be so you don't have to release some medicine? I don't even get that joke. So I don't understand it. In the end, honestly, I really don't have any negatives with it. I just kind of put that as a negative. Just to think of something. But honestly, I think it's a really funny movie. I love the Ernest P. Worrell character. I love the Second Chance boys. They're awesome. So this is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 15, maybe top 10 movies of all time. Certainly one of my favorite comedies. Easily top 5 comedies. So Ernest Goes to Camp. I love this movie. Ernest Goes to Camp is awesome. Thanks for watching.